So I like to drive all the vehicles I rebuild, and the Mistake is no different. Okay, it's a little different. I used it for work, pulling a trailer, hauling parts, and I've put 2,000 miles on it in the last week alone. It's been to Arkansas, Michigan, and Wisconsin, and back to Illinois each time. When you put that many miles on a vehicle in such a short amount of time, things happen. I don't know if it was good luck or bad luck, but I got a new truck. It's a 2018 GMC Sierra Denali. And, okay, I can't do this. I'm gonna be one of those guys that I never thought I would be. I have to wash this thing before I start working on it, or even talk about it. It just looks horrible in that monitor. So there's the Mistake. Brought its little brother home from Arkansas. I couldn't go back to my old truck after driving the Mistake. I had to upgrade. So, this was my upgrade. So I guess we have an answer to why we have carpeted wheel liners. To hold the mud in, of course. I've gone four-wheeling quite a few times, and this takes talent to get this much dirt packed into this truck. It's everywhere. To show this video to my detailer, I better get a discount on this one. I'm doing half his work. We'll clean it again. This is just get most of the dirt off of it. When the bed's off, we'll definitely pressure wash the frame down, get underneath. For everyone that asked me why I don't wash the vehicles before I work on them, I hope you're happy. I did. Normally that would be time wasted, but this thing was pretty dirty. A little less dirt on the passenger side. Seems the other car knocked a little bit of it off. I think the pressure was a little too high. Look what I did. It actually rained on my trip up, so it wasn't like this was just dirt that was from sitting in the yard. This was on there before the accident. So now that I've transferred all the dirt from the truck to me, I see why people like to wash things before they work on them. That was kind of fun. But unfortunately, we couldn't get the damage to rinse off. We're going to need to go with something a little more aggressive. So outside, what we're going to need, bedside, cab corner, piece of the rocker, and a door. That was the cheap part, believe it or not. So now with some of the more expensive parts this truck needs. The curtain airbags, both sides. The headliner, torn in a bunch of places. Seat airbag, also the seat cover tears, so I'll have to replace the seat cover as well. And despite what I've heard, you cannot sew them up. Don't do that, guys. It's also gonna need seatbelts on both sides and the front. That looks like it. Whole lot more money in restraint system parts than actual sheet metal. So this truck is pretty well loaded. It even comes with an option some of you youngsters might not recognize. And that's this ancient form of communication. Before we had cell phones, this is how we talked to each other on the road. This is a CB radio. It allows you to talk to anybody else with the CB radio within a certain radius of your vehicle, depending on the size of the antenna you had. There were multiple channels. 19 was always the big one, but if you wanted to have a semi-private conversation, you just switch to a different channel. This was, and might still be, the best radar detector money can buy. Unfortunately, with this option come some drawbacks, like holes. Holes in my trim panel here. I suppose it's better than actually being in the dashboard, but I still have to repair it. In addition to those holes, I also have a few from the antenna. So this is where the antenna used to mount for the CB. I drilled a big hole for the coax wire to come out of, and 3 holes to mount it. This is the C-pillar that we're replacing, so it's not a huge deal. Instead of putting it in here, I'll just have to put it in above that rather than having to weld up the holes. Just cover them all up. I'm gonna have 1 stitch weld. I'm gonna have it anyway, might as well just put it in a little higher. Who buys a $70,000 truck just to put holes in it? I'd rather camo vent visors. So this truck has 2 problems that make it not the perfect truck for me. I guess you could call it 3, but I don't consider this a problem. Just a minor setback. But the first problem is it's missing a sunroof. And the last problem is one you can't see by looking at the truck. And that is, it has a clear title. For everyone wondering why you can't re-sew the seats when the airbags deploy through them, the stitching that's used to hold it together is a specific strength, in a specific place, in a specific number. If you change any one of those variables, you risk the next deployment being in the wrong direction or at the wrong velocity. That's not a risk I'm willing to take. Take it easy on the hamsters, dude. But unfortunately, we couldn't get the damage to rinse off. We're gonna need to go with something a little more aggressive. So like this video if you found it interesting, share it if you think somebody else might, subscribe if you want to see how this truck turns out, and as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.